LFY
trying to cope with all the shifts.
That was an impressive interview. I don't know how you guys felt about that, but he seems like a really bright kid or guy. I don't know how old he is, but
Very well spoken.
Very aware of himself and what he's doing here and the opportunities that he has in front of him. Very collected. Yeah. I like this team more and more.
Yeah, I love when he said we're trying, or that we're able to play easily together. Because I feel like big moments in Dota are decided quarter seconds, half seconds. The ability for a team to coordinate in that sort of environment is just so important to succeed. Let's get ready for game one between LFY and TNC. And the least surprising bands of the tournament. We got Nyx and Batrider out for LFY. We got Lich and Earthshaker out for TNC.
Yeah, before we get too far into the draft, I wanted to bring up a little bit about 1437 talked about in his interview. Like Casey was trying to egg him on about the C9 thing, but they've already placed better than C9, and they're still in the winner's bracket.
And he's also had quite an amazing journey, like these past years. After tier 2, we actually went to China to play on a team there. And
he's not afraid to take charge and put his fate in his own hands, and it's working out really well for him here.
And that's together with having the journey with Secret to coach them. I think he learned a lot, and it's really what TNC needed.
That was an interesting comment that he made, that he felt like he was able to learn at a faster rate as a coach without the pressure of having to play so much.
So, I mean, Bulba talked about that a little bit as well.
5 seconds
learning
remaining.
From the time he spent coaching on a couple different rosters. It's, you know, when you don't always have the opportunity to play at these major tournaments, but you want to be involved. There's a lot to learn here.
I also think that just trying to force yourself to be able to articulate what you think about a certain strategy can often reveal where there's consistencies or issues or problems, or just highlight what's good about something that someone's already doing.
Let's do exactly that as we get into this draft.
Yeah.
So that Lonely had played like almost carried every game. So that kind of makes sense with them revolving the draft around Super, that they really want to make sure that you
look at this Jakiro.
First Jakiro was the mainstay.
Constant flight mode.
1437 hero Jakiro. He really loves to play that hero.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I think it works well. It gives, you know, synergizes decently well with Naga sleep.
It's a good setup here.
It gives them, he's one of the supports that gives you some tower push along with Rasta, and sometimes you can see a support Pugna, which will give you an ability to force towers, force your opponents to fight you, which is exactly what you want to do against Night Stalker. Kind of just want to ball up and take these massive team fights.
You were ragging on carry Naga yesterday, I think TNC's.
I speak for the trees.
Yeah.
LFY's turn to bat.
I doubt it. I think they just want to group up, and Naga Siren will buy some mana boots, spam on some illusions, maybe get some solid nets, and just be there ready with the sleep. Build a mech. Kiro will probably go for the pipe, and they'll look to end this game decently early or take enough of an advantage to secure a late game win.
Nature's Prophet's second pick for LFY. Night Stalker, of course, great at giving vision. Not too impactful in late game team fights. Nature's Prophet kind of has some of the same issues. Great at split pushing, great at summoning.
Nature's Prophet is it's not a hero that's usually picked in the first two, but here they see that they have Jakiro, and he's not really good at having the treants and catching the Prophet, so it's a good matchup for him today.
Also not good at getting towered over, too. They definitely have that potential with Night Stalker and Nature's Prophet. And Flame also has one of the strangest hero pools. Elder, Titan, Zeus, Prophet, Doom. These are the best heroes in the game, but no one else plays them.
Yeah,
I'd be a little careful about saying that Nature's Prophet doesn't scale very well. I think he's one of the better late game heroes. He always finds farm and split push. He can split push all over the place very easily, either with his treants, you know, teleporting to a lane and summoning those, or just casting his ultimate on the map can help push out the lanes. He also provides your team a decent amount of vision with all the treants that you can spread them out individually if your micro is good enough, and spread them out throughout the map.
Also just so fun with early game ganks. And LFY did beautiful things with Nature's Prophet. Ganks before 15, 20 minutes in group stages. He was one of their linchpin heroes in a variety of matchups to help him close out immediately.
It's very easy for him to port in, sprout somebody, secure a kill, summon treants, and start pushing that tower
And
immediately.
it really
And then
fits well
TP
with NS as well, because NS during the night is going to scout, and he's going to find a kill, and then Prophet is going to be there to be able to TP in and help him to get the kill.
5 seconds remaining.
Death Prophet and Weaver banned from TNC. Not exactly sure what that is telling. Maybe they... Weaver ban. Huh.
Death Prophet makes sense, at least. It's a hero that Super has been playing a lot, and it is very good with Prophet for some more tower push.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they still have the DK, but
Sand King, okay. Probably their offlane hero, I would imagine, unless they do decide to do some sort of core Naga.
You know, I'm just
TNC's
noticing that as we've
turn.
been talking about other teams, we spend a lot of time talking about some of the key star players and building around them, but LFY, you know, continuously it's been about how the team is functioning as a whole, as a unit.
Yeah, I think you look at Monet, who's been playing all the different carries, right? He's probably the standout player on
10
the team.
seconds
Super's
remaining.
one of the least flashy mids in this tournament, but he's been getting the job done
5
consistently.
seconds remaining.
Alpha's been pretty flashy too. It's been consistently really good on the roaming heroes, Shaker or Spirit.
Okay, picking up the Dazzle. I like the Sand King, I think, was kind of set up to lane up against the Nature's Prophet, perhaps. The Caustic Finale will allow Sand King to have a pretty good time in that lane, especially if he buys a poor man's shield to start, help him reduce some of that right-click harass damage that
LFY's
Furion's capable of.
Razor.
Ooh, Razor.
Razor. Wow.
they want to be able to fight because they probably understand that LFY really wants to commit to the push here with both Dazzle now and Prophet. So
You know, when are the big strengths for Razor?
10 seconds
he's usually
remaining.
good against a melee carry that the opponents have because then
5
he needs to go
seconds
in, but
remaining.
Razor makes him be, like kind of want to go out to drop the static.
Like one of the count
What's it called?
static link.
Static link.
One of the heroes that he's best against is like Lifesteal. Lifesteal rages in, runs in, you use static link, and Lifestealer has to
I
run
think
away.
Static Link is the hardest to break ability in the entire game. I don't even think like
It's
Astral
buff,
Imprisonment
so
breaks it.
yeah, it's like very, very long now.
TNC's turn to
This is a weird pick for me. I don't really like this early Razor without seeing more cores from LFY. I think this, like Terrorblade, for example, Razor has not a lot of AoE damage. He's going to have a really tough time dealing with these illusions, and if he decides to run into the
10
middle of a fight and
seconds
start linking
remaining.
Terrorblade, he's probably just going to get killed.
Terrorblade is also just an
5
excellent
seconds
carry
remaining.
for pushing, and Dazzle has great synergy with Terrorblade. Shallow Grave to keep Terrorblade at 1 health so he can use his health exchange ultimate, Thunder.
Absolutely. You're crushing it right now.
I know, you said it yesterday, and I'm repeating it now.
Now the Razor seems
Day 2.
I'm the strongest parrot of all time.
You're learning.
Best parrot NA.
LFY's turn to ban.
All right, so we got Medusa ban. It's another superhero gone. Let's see, what does Super have left in his pool?
DK.
Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight's still in the pool, huh?
I mean, Dragon Knight,
Oh, this is a block pick on Dragon Knight. That's what Razor's doing here.
Yeah, but they can just pick around it, right? I guess.
Sure.
They banned out.
10
They're
seconds
not 2 of the
remaining.
3. Death Prophet and
Yeah.
Medusa. They don't have to pick. They don't have to pick DK at all.
5 seconds
Could
remaining.
do the Super Pugna. He also played Omni Knight in a game. I think that would be very unlikely, though. Pugna, perhaps.
so I mean, at this point with LFY, we see just a lot of very strong push potential. We see Dazzle there to help enhance the push with the Shallow Grave. Night Stalker, of course, there to get great vision, to get ganks, to set those sort of things up. What is the type of hero LFY needs? We've talked about some of the specific heroes Super's good on, but what is the team missing?
They're lacking team fight. Definitely.
LFY's
Night Stalker, Nature's Prophet,
turn to
Dazzle,
pick.
and Terrorblade all provide your team very little to none, or to no team fight.
A lot of single target damage, yeah.
Yes, lots of single target damage. TNC's got a bunch of team fight with their first 3 heroes here. So any kind of 5-on-5 clash where they're on equal kind of net worths and experience, I would favor
10
TNC.
seconds
And they'll be able to
remaining.
set up all these fights too, to make sure they always have good fights with the Naga sleeve.
5 seconds remaining.
It's just fascinating to watch LFY play because in a lot of their compositions, they
There's been a couple times where I wasn't a big fan of LFY's draft,
Yeah.
but they just outskilled
they
their
won
opponents.
so quickly. It's almost like some of the matchups didn't even matter once you got to the 10-minute mark because they were 5-10K ahead.
TNC's turn to pick.
Yeah. Haven't seen Super play this hero too much. He's not Not really his style. Puck's a little flashy for Super, but I'm sure he's capable of it. And I think it's a really great, it's a really great pick here. That silence is going to be super clutch against all three of these first heroes. And
10 seconds remaining.
he struggles a little bit versus Razor in lane, don't you think, Ben?
Yes.
But
5 seconds remaining.
Super has like almost always lost his lane this tournament, so they'll just, I'm sure Afu on the Night Stalker, when he's roaming around, he'll just ignore mid and be like, Super, you got this, man. You'll figure it out.
Do any of Puck's abilities break static link?
Just if you
You may now select your heroes.
if you push yourself away with the whatever it's called. John?
Ethereal Orb, John.
Ethereal Orb, right.
But Facia does not.
And last pick, Alchemist. All right. Definitely could farm a lot of the map, and he can be the frontliner for them.
As well, and they have setup with the sleep if they actually like fight them to set up into the epicenter from Sancting and Twin.
I think LFY can break the jungle, though. That's important against an Alchemist. They have Night Stalker and Furion and Puck to be very mobile on the map, and they could go find this Alchemist and potentially keep him underfarmed.
I mean, once again, it may turn out to be a matchup centered around the Alchemist. Can he go off and get to 30k net worth early? Or will LFY be able to push early and shut Alchemist down? It's time to head into Game 1 of Series 1 of Day 2 here at the International.
Thank you very much, Day 9. And indeed, the first series of Day 2, LFY versus TNC. I'm Eddie Pixel, I'm here with Fogged. Fogged, what are we thinking coming into this one?
I'm pretty excited. I'm really glad they brought up that point about the invading the jungle, like Peter said. That's the one thing about Alchemist. And LFY that's their specialty, as far as I see. They are very about their lanes, and then they kind of crush them, and they invade the enemy jungle, and they pretty much steamroll after that, after taking all the early tier 1s. So that's what I'm looking at for them to do. Look at Afu playing around Inflame in that offlane, because I've seen this Nature's Prophet plus melee.
Yes, when they add
I've seen what they do in that, and they dismantle majority of those dual or tri lanes. So we'll see how they're able to pull it off. But I'm pretty excited for this match coming up. Except for the fact that it looks on paper, we look and we see an Alkin and Naga on TNC, and we're like, ew, because these two heroes sometimes just bring bad taste to the mouth. But they've been changed up, and it's of course the support Naga, so it is a different kind of utilization.
Yeah. And during the draft, I believe it was when the Terrorblade was picked up, you didn't seem too keen on that pick?
Oh no, I like the Terrorblade.
You like the Terrorblade?
The Razor, when it comes up, when you don't have a direct counter against it, when you pick it like that, it's like that flex pick. So they were picking it just to dissuade LFY from picking the DK for Super. Just to have, hey, we have a Razor, and then they switch it. They don't actually put the Razor in the mid lane, they put it in the safe lane. So they had that little bit of mind game going for them, which is great. And right off the bat, they actually find themselves a D-ward. They're already expecting, they understand how LFY likes to play. They know that they want to block the pull camp, they want to put a lot of pressure onto the enemy safe lane, and just constantly run at that. So if they at least are able to alleviate that they can pull, it's extremely important for them to be able to get that experience and maximize. We do see a smoke actually coming out from...
We'll see if they get any traction with it. Looks like the line's to be drawn to head all the way down bottom and look to invade LFY's jungle.
They're doing aggro, like Peter was mentioning. They want to have the Sanking versus Nature's Prophet matchup. And it can actually shut down the Terrorblade quite decently. And it's probably pretty unexpected. They scouted out the tri-lane top and then the smoke happened. So it's TNC trying to get that unexpected lane favoring.
And is this a lane favoring that's good enough for TNC that LFY may then react to it and switch their lanes back up so they don't find themselves in these, as you say, unfavorable lane matchups?
Yeah, probably. It depends on how much they can get the pulls off. That's the one thing, is that LFY does have both pulls open if they do want to be able to do that and be able to keep the lane back. They just have to not get killed level 1 and then not get steamrolled, because if the Terrorblade gets shut down super hard, they have a very weird way of getting back into the game of actually pushing and sieging. Nature's Prophet can have a pretty good time, but he's versus Sanking, which is an okay matchup as long as Sanking.
Looks like Raven got a pretty solid block down on this bottom lane, which is going to mean that Monet's rather far forward. They look to lead in with the Stallion. Do they have the control with the slow from 1437? This is looking pretty good. DDC is there. He's yet to skill. Will save the point for the Shadow Grave. Very smartly done there by DDC. Waits until the last possible moment before knowing which skill is required and will save the Terrorblade's life.
So Apple right away does make the move down bottom, and they start already stacking the pole. They know what they need to accomplish in this lane. They need to out-resource them, and once they get a couple levels on their heroes, they're actually extremely strong, especially if this Jakiro gets out of position. He's very slow, 290 movement speed. It's all up to Tim's pretty much just standing in the front line and zoning them. So if they can, also the thing is that they're low on regen is the problem for LFY, but they do have a Dazzle. So as long as they're able to conserve their regen, they can match up decently versus TNC. But TNC does have a lot of regen between their heroes.
Well, looking for Sims here, DDC. Keeping him at bay, Monet and Arthur, as you say, in the neighborhood. The thing is you're mentioning, these two side lanes definitely seem to have strengths for TNC, but this mid lane, if Cuckoo doesn't get any help, this could become a bit tricky, couldn't it, for him in this 1v1 against the Puck?
Definitely. Puck is heavily harassed.
Well, hold that thought, though, because bottom lane, DDC's gone on by TNC, and they'll pick up the first blood just like that.
As soon as
Arthur and Monet unable to do anything.
Tims gets level 2, the net comes out. Easy grab on anybody who's on the side. That's the important thing when you're playing versus these try versus try lanes. You have to watch your positioning and staying in the lane. If you're going to do pulls, that's okay as long as you have somebody kind of guarding you for the pull. But for the most part, you can't get caught on the side there because it's just pretty easy picks.
As well, this mid lane CS looking very good at the moment.
Super.
For Super. He is going to jump forward for this, puts the point into the waning rift. It's not going to be quite enough burst. In fact,
the acid spray.
Turn around, man, it up for Super. Oh no! Oh no, Super! Maybe should have stuck to playing Dragon Knight. But that is not how you want to start that mid lane matchup.
There's a TP coming in from
They're going to try and find something in return, indeed. They are looking for Cuckoo. He has got that poor man's shield. We'll see if it's going to be enough. He does need the proc.
The courier's coming. We've got a salve on it. Salve's up.
He's going to keep himself alive. Goes for the deny. Cuckoo is loving the mid lane. He is smiling all over. And in fact, bottom lane, some positive action as well for TNC. They're moving in onto Monet. Does have the backup from DDC. That will be enough to hold TNC back. TNC here off to quite a start, making a big impact here on the main stage.
One thing is, though, he does get the salve delivered. He uses it, though, and then dies. And dying to Ancients, dying to neutrals, you're dead for 24 seconds as a mid laner. That's actually pretty devastating, because now Super pulls way ahead in the last hits and is actually acquiring more net worth. So you don't want to give the kill, but at the same time, it hurts a lot to die to neutrals like that this early on as a mid laner. He's back now, though, and gonna continue that acid spray spam.
Absolutely, yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, Super CS still off the charts. You know, he's farming like an absolute beast. 21-11. So despite that death, Super definitely still maintaining the lead here in this mid matchup.
Afu probably wants to get a couple more levels before he makes that move. It's also going to be nighttime soon. I think he wants ideally level 3 so he can decide if he can save a point in Crippling Fear. It can be very useful to kill the Sand King and the Alchemist early on. And they're actually just switching lanes. They decide, this aggro Trident is too much. They need their Terrorblade to have something, and I put him top. Not the greatest matchup, though, versus a Sand King who's already level 4. But there's no Caustic actually skilled on Sam H, which is a bit surprising versus the Nature's Prophet Treants. But Inflame is one of the best at playing Nature's Prophet in the laning phase, so it could be understood why he was dissuaded from doing that. Cuckoo now, just goes to the jungle. It's too much threat. Once Puck gets like level 4 or 5, there's too much damage coming out and too much threat of the Nature's Prophet TPing behind you. So he just has to resort to that.
It's bottom lane, Inflame does have the phase boost, giving Raven quite a bit of a punch. Arfu looking for the chase down. Raven quick to cut himself out of the Sprout. Will be fine now. The reaction from TNC, 1437's there, as well as Tims from the Invis, jumps forward with the root turn, with the static link. And TNC, they're looking for Arfu. There's no DDC in the neighborhood, so there's no save for the Night Stalker. And a third kill's picked up by TNC.
Very strong aggro Trilane. So much slow and control, and the damage comes all from that Razor, who already has phase boots, so they have the chase as well now. And this is where Afu maybe wants to make moves elsewhere. Actually smokes up, starting to commit maybe toward that mid lane, it looks like. He puts a ward to watch the movements of where the Naga's going.
Cuckoo's very low.
Very susceptible to death here. The
Only one
coming out,
left. They can certainly look to die for this, and indeed they will. He has the infused raindrop. It's not enough to save him. LFY. Quick
they TP for the
opportunity. They may just get this as well. I'm going to look to try and juke it across the tree line, but Arfu with the flying vision gives it to Super. So Super has that vision to make the connection.
Damn, I didn't think that they were actually going to commit so hard for the courier, but with the Hunter and the Knight making it so much easier to see it, even though it is sprinted up.
Still definitely the biggest issue for LFY being that Monet's start has not been great at all because of this aggression from TNC. Still lacking behind in CS. Levels as well. They're not quite there.
Top, though.
And now they're looking for a fight. Yeah, with the Metamorphosis and the Poison Touch connecting, they'll go in, they'll take one. Sam H tries to hold them back with the Burrow Strike and the Sandstorm. Not enough to get a kill in return, but we'll push them back. But still, this is perfect. You know, LFY, they need to find Monet involved in as much action as they can to kind of bring him back from this very, very slow early 5 minutes from LFY.
It's a catapult wave right now, too. Bottom lane, Flame getting committed on. Should be just fine. Able to TP out after the net. So catapult waves coming in. Metamorphosis was used, but Sam H is able to just Sandstorm and push out top. Bottom lane, maybe TNC is able to put some tower pressure here. Could be very nice for them being able to. Both teams, they want to be able to get those early tier 1s to get the access points into the jungle versus this Alchemist and Terrorblade. Those invasions are super important versus those two heroes in particular. Mid lane, 1437 taking a step too far up.
Straight away with the Dream Core down, Arfu and Super going to work, bringing down an up. I mean, yeah, Super, you know, as much as we made Joe, he is doing amazing. Is it 42 CS, our highest farm on the board?
Tower is under attack.
He is definitely going to be the real threat. If they can start to utilize this puck, getting him moving around, use the Dream Coil to enable Monet to do work in the fights with the Metamorphosis, it's going to get crazy. And in fact, already 1437 getting jumped on again. The Nature's Wrap flies through. And LFY, they pick up another kill in the mid lane.
But Super now getting caught out of the side. Actually, jaunts on the high ground into a trap, but he's got his orb out.
Down to the low ground. Raven's going to see if he can try and chase him. Cuckoo is there with the wraparound. Will block him off. And look, he's trying to... Oh, you know, I thought he was going to give the kill to Raven. But he says, I'll take him myself. And does beat down upon Super, so they will catch him. The same time, Monet and DDC looking towards Sam H. He's got the stick charges, does have the burrow strike. They were thinking about bringing in Inflame as well, but as soon as those charges came out, they knew they couldn't go for it.
Very high level 7 already. Lots of... He's 7.4 HP per second as well. Hard kill to get with that max Sandstorm too. But they also almost claim mid tower, so this is a little bit of a change-up that we usually see from LFY. They're playing a lot around Super, which they have to do right now because the other lane got shut down so hard. It's pretty much up to Super and Inflame to get Monet back into this one.
Yes, they've got to somehow enable the recovery for this
mid.
play.
Every time coils up.
Super being so proactive with the help of Arfu and Inflame, just jumping in, joining him, and there's nowhere to roam with these treants in the way. They will have the Sand King TPing in. Sam H may find Arfu in return with the Sandstorm. Because of his skill build, it's doing a lot of damage at this stage of the game. Takes down one in return. But still, nonetheless, it is this Alchemist now getting heavily punished by LFY. This pressure in the mid lanes, giving space to Monet up on top.
Sam H, another kill he's going to get maybe? Oh, so close.
That's silent, saving the life with both of them. Super does have the invis, was thinking about going back in there, but as you say, this level 8 Sand King, very, very scary for LFY.
LFY is making a lot of space around the map though. They're forcing aggression, they're forcing rotations, which gives Monet a lot of space. Up top, wailing on that top tier 1 tower. TNC also trading bottom. So they're like we said, they need to have some way to kind of get Monet back in the game, and there's two ways of doing that. You either get him involved in fights and you play around him, or you make space elsewhere on the map. And right now he's still a bit too under level to play around him.
Sam H back up top, and Monet is backed up by DDC at the moment, so we'll be fine. Looks like Super as well did pick obviously the null tallies up for the lane, but not going for the Veil, maybe safe and straight for that Blink Dagger this game. Top lane, Sam H coming in with the Burrow Strike. Monet is there, looking for the turnaround. Inflame comes in with the TP. No Burrow Strike for Sam H for 5 seconds. He'll try and get himself out. But again, yeah, these Treant blocks causing a huge issue for Sam H. He does have the stick charge. We'll let the Burrow Strike back up. And that's enough. He's out of there. Sam with the plays. Bottom lane, Raven diving in deep. He steals a hefty chunk of damage from Arfu. Arfu will get himself back to safety.
Raven might be in some trouble here. Super's got Coil. He's got him isolated, but...
He's a little scared, though, of Raven having that stolen damage.
Yeah, don't think they have TP follow-up. I think Inflames is still on cooldown for 10 more seconds.
5 for 5, very close showing for both of these teams in the early 10 minutes. TNC with the slight edge, but as expected, with having the Alchemist on their side.
Yeah, and running a very unexpected aggro tri-lane, which worked incredibly well. So, something I always like talking about is the levels. Of course, after aggro tri-lanes, we take a look, and it's pretty well dispersed. The 4 and 5 on the Naga and Jakiro, and 4 and 6 actually on LFY, so Apu is level 6 on Nightstalker, almost level 7 actually. But now they're looking to try to make aggression on him bottom, diving the tier 2.
Yeah, they're ready to go. Out comes the root. 1437 following through with the slow. There will be TP reactions from LFY. They turn towards Tim's. Will get taken down here by Inflame on the back lines. LFY maybe see if they can chase down for more. Raven has the ultimate
really
out.
Wants to try here.
He does have that Dream Coil if he can close the gap.
They're really fast. The Nightstalker's very fast with those phase boots. They might be able to catch up to him eventually. They do see him going into the tree line as well. They should be able
very
to
hard
up Raven
to get out. Yeah, they've got the vision. Dream Coil's down. He will break the coil on an attempt to escape. 1437 is there with the slows. Does still have the ultimate up for a couple of seconds there, Raven. And backup is on his way. LFY may now be turned around upon. Jump forward from Super does get the 2-man silence, trying to bring down the Sand King, but Sam H still gets the time for the Burrow Strike. The Grave's there from DDC though. Super survives. Sam H down. Raven will chase down Super. Goes for the jump and gets it. Super's out of there.
That Grave. Perfect
DDC.
timing by DDC.
I mean, we saw it time and time again in the group stages. Arfu as well with the Duke and TP out in the tree line gets himself back to safety.
And again, they force a ton of reaction toward the bottom lane, which frees up a lot for Monet to get that farm. Still not really completely recovered yet. They don't kill the Razor. They get a Sand King though, at least, and lose nobody. It was actually Apu was holding the Void there because he didn't want the Razor to just TP out right after the call and use the Void. So it actually ends up getting a lot closer to their tower, but he had to do so. And it's really important that they're carrying Reveal on the Night Stalker and the Dazzle, because in that situation, he puts down the Sentry instantly as soon as he sees Sanking. Sanking goes into the Sandstorm, but yeah, they pick him up.
DDC's Dazzle, definitely something the TNC, they've got to be aware of it in these fights. Somehow they have to stop this man from getting in position for these Graves and such. Because as we've seen, it's impossible for TNC to find the trades when DDC is in the neighborhood. And already LFY now off the back of that favorable trade down bottom, immediately moving to the top lane.
Yeah.
Sam H in the neighborhood, 1400 towards the Blink Dagger at the moment, and Super still under the cover of the smoke. Will look towards him all.
Sam H!
A little late with the Dream Core there. Sam H with the game sense. Bro striking straight away up to the tier 1, and that, by the looks of it, is going to put off LFY from looking for anything more there. So nice awareness there from Sam.
Yeah, we're talking about the Monet beginning to recover, slowly but surely, of course, but this Alchemist, almost level 12, actually level 12 now, and
look at the money.
Almost getting online from Radiance.
So they've come back, they are hunting for Sam H, but again, using these burrow strikes to just create the distance between them. And it makes it very hard for LFY to get anything done. And indeed, with this time, as you say, Cuckoo closing in on the Relic, bottom lane, TNC getting some pressure on a tier 2. LFY, they really want to catch this Sam H, but again, he just burrow strikes away. Arfu will look to try and chase him down by the looks of it. They are TPing in to block him off as well. In Flames there. This time, they will finally bring him down. But essentially, that is Sam H creating a lot of space. Bottom lane, tier 2, down to less than half health. And what's the money looking like on Cuckoo? He's 100 or so away from the Relic.
Yeah.
And they're going to get this tier 2 by looks of it down bottom.
So LFY's trying to punish as much as they can, because they're like, oh, Alchemist is just farming this whole time. We have to make as much happen with these R4v4. But at the same time, TNC's getting some very favorable trades coming out here. Now they have a lot of access points into the enemy jungle. They put some very nice aggressive wards down too. So they're able to watch wherever Monet is farming. Monet actually able to start cleaning up an Ancient stack, which is going to really start accelerating him.
Yeah, there's only a few hundred now behind Raven. TNC's carry, so that laning stage starting to, its effects at least being reverted, but definitely overall the fact that Cuckoo and his Alchemist exactly where he would hope to be at this stage.
Yeah, 1437 is playing the Jakiro as he normally does. He just throws down his Macro Pyre on a wave, just pushes it out as much as possible, meets up with his team, throws some Liquid Fire. Doesn't really care if he gets killed in a lot of those situations, because he's doing his job. He's just making sure that the lanes are forced out, and it's really hard for LFY to do those invasions. They talked about it on the panel that LFY has a good team to actually be able to invade, but not when these kind of situations happen. And Radiance is going to be online in 150 gold, so he pretty much has it. So I'd like to see TNC definitely smoke up as soon as that Radiance gets online to just make plays around the Alchemist, because it's pretty hard to bring him down at this point.
And I guess that's the thing as well. Once this Alchemist gets his Radiance Manta Octarine, and there's not too many great ways for LFY to deal with sort of that Radiance illusion push, is it?
Not really, no. They need their Terrorblade to be big to deal with that. Or the Nature's Prophet, of course, who is farming very well.
Down bottom, for the Ruin Super, but he will be able to jump out, of course. Same time, Cuckoo being backed up by 1437. There is the Radiance now completed. Top lane, Monet out into the trees, TPing himself away. Mid lane, Arfu making a bit of a go here onto Cuckoo. And it's
got the
down
silence
low.
rage.
The Armlet's still there though. And of course, with Armlet toggling at his capability, no chance that Arfu can dive this alone. Definitely 15 minutes in. TNC turning up here on the main stage against LFY, this absolutely terrifying team in the group stages.
They've got Blink now on Sanking. Hood already picked up on the Razor. They're looking at LFY's lineup and they're like, yeah, they're majority magic damage until the Terrorblade and Nature's Prophet get a couple items. It's good itemization by Raven.
Now look at the D ward here, TNC unblocking their camps. LFY's warding, and LFY, though they know that 1437 was there with the D-Wall from the low ground, will find him in the tree line. Bring down the Jakiro.
It's bound to happen at some point when they're splitting up so much on the map. Like Razor's showing bottom, Sanking's showing top, Alchemist is still jungling. They're not 100% aware that the Alchemist is jungling, but they probably have good reason to believe so. So every time they see someone else, like if they show, that's like one of the big rules of Dota. If you show in all three lanes, one of you is bound to die.
Raven could be, it's okay, it's feeling safe. The static link will be broken straight away, but nonetheless enough to stop LFY chasing him down.
No TP cooldown is still there for Inflame. If the nighttime was still lasting maybe a bit longer, or if they had that TP cooldown with Darkness, they maybe could have committed for it, but They wanted to just relax. That was not up just yet. SamH continuing that pressure top.
Well, of course, some TP reactions, but he's straight out with a blink into the trees and nothing there to hold him back.
They're just shoving lanes in constantly. TNC, SamH has literally just been parked top, Sand Stun into Sandstorm over and over again to force the lane out.
I mean, he's just making so much space across this map. And DDC, chased down by Raven. Monet is there. Will pop the Metamorphosis for this one, but immediately just held back. Arthur's going to try and chase down Raven, see if they can get this Razor kill. But SamH is there on the high ground, does have Epi and Blink if he wants to try and turn back into this. Dreamcoat drop down only onto Raven.
It gets silenced right away.
Nicely done there from Arfu, making sure that there's no return play coming in from SamH. They've also managed to sprout Sims up on the sideline. He does still have the song. Not going to bother popping it by the looks of it, as he accepts his fate. That is the Naga Siren down. Now, TP was still on cooldown for the Naga, so even with the song usage, was almost certainly dead anyway. So deciding to save it for potentially another hold here back at the base.
LFY forced him to split in two different ways, so Naga got isolated a bit by the Dazzle who threw Weave on him, and Nature's Prophet just chasing him down right-clicking, while the Night Stalker and everyone else chased through the river. So it's just really good play by LFY, but also TNC maybe slight misplay, just running in different directions and splitting up rather than running as a group. But during all that time, Cuckoo just farming, gets the Boots of Travel finished up, so he's got ways to be able to join the fight with his teammates.
Fight they will. TNC smoking up. Totally unbeknownst to the side of LFY, no vision down at that area. So TNC do have a chance to make a jump here.
They're really relying on the Alchemist farm though at this point. It's 3k lead, and the Alchemist is the one who has the 6k lead over the next hero. So the next three are LFY's.
I mean, they see DDC mid. It's obviously not the biggest kill they want, but it is a kill nonetheless. He'll make sure to waste their time with the Grave. He's going to look to see if he can get the timing with a deny. It was just a little bit too early though. The Grave was still up. In fact, TNC said, all right, we'll turn this into a Roshan death. Straight away, they're into the pit. I mean, LFY are probably going to be aware that this is happening.
They've got a pretty decent Rosh lineup. They don't really take too much damage because the Chemical Rage and Liquid Fire, so the Rosh doesn't really attack and they have to sustain through it.
I mean, this is going to work out perfectly if TNC just get away with that. DDC sort of making the call for TNC there. Say, come and take Rosh. They say, well, we will. And LFY, they're not even going to try and challenge it. Free Roshan there for TNC. Aegis into Cuckoo's pocket.
How convenient. Excellent call there by TNC though, to make their way in with that stolen damage. And they do have a decent amount of minus armor, like we said. Acid Spray with Riptide puts Rosh down quite a lot.
Still Monet in the farm. How's he doing item-wise? He's
on his way toward Manta.
Nearly at the ultimate orb, yeah. Still very much.
The road to recovery is still there.
Yes, as we said, at the start where he was very much behind. In a much better position now. Decent levels as well, level 12.
Gets an Arcane Rune, that helps a lot. More Conjure Images. TNC has some very deep wards to watch wherever that Alchemist, or to watch wherever that Terrorblade is farming.
No time to be popped, Raven. A few hundred away from having the blade mail on the Razor. Still certainly all the space in the world for Cuckoo's Alchemist.
Yeah, it's just Cuckoo really farming. That's the one concern I do have for TNC, that no one else is really able to get farming.
They are trying to fight here around the shrine, and they're not going to get away with it by the bit. SamH comes to the midst of it all, gets the two-man burn, Graves out time.
Epi.
But it did the Epi chase down, coming through, forcing the side of LFY back. DDC has already put the Grave, the Dream Cold Stone will hold them back. Silence onto SamH to make sure he can't burrow strike forward.
Nobody died?
That could have got a lot messier for LFY there, trying to fight around that shrine, but it didn't. They all survived. DDC again with a very nice Grave.
He's been on point with those. I actually cannot believe that nobody died there. TNC had to expend a couple ultimates there to defend that. Now LFY able to siege a bit toward that tower, but TNC's all in the area. They still have sleep too, and like the panel mentioned, they do have a decent combo with the Jakiro and the Sanking on top of that sleep.
See if they can do anything off the back of this. They are going to jump forward with the Burrow Strike onto Monet. Still on the sidelines though, Arfu's still by the shrine, looking to see if he can get behind them for a clutch silence. Cuckoo will have his eyes upon him. He's not going to look for the chase though, Arfu too speedy.
Cuckoo just farmed a massive Ancient stack. About to have Manta Style already finished up now too. Double the net worth of the next hero. Alchemist.
She's going to try something here with this haste stream. Looking to see if he can get a bit of a cheeky play onto Super. Super jumps back, will jaunt off. Phase shifts there. Dodge the concoction.
He's got to use it now.
Raven towards DDC has got SamH in the neighborhood. If they can get anything done, 14:37 around as well.
The wards this game have been crazy by TNC. I'm pretty sure every single ward they've placed has been put in the enemy jungle. Or watching that one ancient spot, the one on the left side. But other than that, yeah, they've been completely focused on sticking on LFY's side of the map. Other than Cuckoo. Cuckoo's just chilling in the jungle.
And Flame keeping up the split push pressure as well. Shadowblade complete, so he's going to feel a lot safer doing so now. And definitely something that TNC had to be aware of. But of course, yeah, with the Naga, with the Alchemist, they themselves, very good methods of pushing out the lanes. I mean, you mentioned Jakiro, Sangi, and their whole team as a whole, a lot better at sort of bursting down the waves in comparison to LFY's lineup when it comes to waves pushing.
Yeah, definitely. They have the Nature's Prophet though, which he's a little bit of a different creature. He can go everywhere.
Mid lane, quick jump in onto 1437 with the Veil, of course. Massive amounts of magical damage from LFY.
They did see a couple people bottom, or they saw at least one hero bottom with LFY. Now they're starting to pincer, looking for a couple kills. They poured in. There's actually no reveal on the side of TNC except for that one sentry ward they have in the middle of the jungle.
And in fact, LFY maybe wanting to try and fight this. Alfu comes in immediately with the silence onto Sam H. Holt from a Raven comes through. They'll start to force back here onto Inflame. They have the root as well. He goes for the TP out. Graves there to make sure he's safe. But no, the Burrow Strike comes in from Sam H. He's going to be left behind. Inflame's down. They do lose Sam H in return. The TNC seeing what they get. Some more. Cuckoo comes in with the bots with the pre-prepared concoction. And that will set up for a second there for TNC.
Nice response. The beauty of having boots of travel on Alchemist in an early time. You can always join the fights and outnumber. LFY probably thought that they could outnumber them there, but now they go, I still got the Aegis.
They've got the Manta, the Radiance, and as you say, the Aegis on this Alchemist. Cuckoo feeling ready to frontline. They are without Sam H, but LFY themselves, no DDC, no Inflame. Getting very close to bringing down this tier 3. The fortification comes out from LFY. They do have... No, they don't quite have Dream Coil yet. How long until we're seeing that one up?
2 seconds.
2 seconds, so they've got it now. Now TNC realize they start to back off. They're a little scared of this. There's
the song, though.
The 3, indeed, the song coming through, buying time for Cuckoo at least to TP out. Tim's TPing out as well. 1437 looks like he will be the one to be left behind. Raven trying
to get Raven as well.
To make it. Wasn't quite quick enough with it. Now with the Void Stone coming out from Arfu, Raven, he will be taken down. So LFY able to punish TNC off the back of that push down bottom, taking 2, and TNC, as you know, they did get a lot of damage to the tier 3 tower, but they didn't quite finish it off.
Could be worse though. If they weren't able to get the song off at that time, if he got silenced somehow, it could have been 4 or 5 heroes dropping. So losing 2, not the greatest, but can definitely be more costly. And they got, yeah, like you said, majority of that tower brought down. Aggressive, keeping in, they're looking for tips as well.
Coming in, Arfu with the setup, Sprouts out with the silence. And of course, Song still on cooldown, no chance for Tim's. LFY. Quick with the plays, knowing that there's already a couple of heroes off the map, and straight down the bottom lane. Monet, with the last of his Metamorphosis, putting pressure onto this tier 1. They've got the full fight mana around it for LFY. This is a very, very risky tower for TNC to try and hold, and indeed they won't even give it the time of day. They'll let it go. As LFY playing the tower.
We mentioned how much these two guys do. Inflame and Afu on LFY are having incredibly good games. 5 and 2 and 11. He's involved in all 16 kills on Afu. That's absolutely incredible.
Radiant's middle
and 4 and 1 and 5, of course, of Inflame. Very impressive for what he's been doing, but still, Afu is absolutely everywhere, involved in everything that they've done so far.
Cuckoo's deep though. He's in LFY territory. Afu, he's actually gonna kind of let him go there. Did spot him out. Now he'll go in on him with Monet, and they were no, Afu's not bothering to throw anything down on him. I guess he knows there's the Manta there, and so it just feels like he can't do anything about that Alchemist. Just have to sort of let Cuckoo be and get on with his life.
That's just the fear factor of the Alchemist. They need the puck pretty much, because he's their only real lockdown. As the panel kind of talked about, their chase is good because they have the Night Stalker, but their actual way of like keeping the fights near them is just the puck. They don't have any other stuns besides puck. Cuckoo will be getting that Octarine at a good timing, 25 or 26 minute mark. Like we said, double the net worth of the next ones. But other than that, it's still, you take a look, and it's only a 2K lead for TNC, and it's actually a 1,000 experience lead going the way of LFY.
It's, yeah, as you say, you know, just looking at the 3 cores from LFY. Across the board in comparison to Raven and Sam H, LFY are breaking ahead. This Midas on Inflame, certainly working out. And as you said, you know, the amount of split push pressure he's been putting on, farming these waves, keeping them pushed out.
And the really impressive thing too is that Monet, he's 0 and 0. has not died yet, even though he got aggro tri-lane, has been doing a great job of just recovering. His team is making all the space in the world for him to do that, which
Radiant
he desperately needs. He's now got Manta style though, so he's a lot more threatening.
We're going to see a smoke on smoke here coming through from both sides. TNC coming down the river, LFY entering from the bottom.
It looks like here.
They are going to look to jump onto Cuckoo. Cuckoo gets the chemical rage out. They'll drop the dream port. Next grab as well. Has the man stole. Now the back of the TNC coming in. Savage looking for the epicenter there against it. Comes in, only catches the Night Stalker.
They're sleeping though.
And in fact,
sleeping.
yeah, the sleep epicenter. They sort of said we can't fight. We've got to get out. But now, LFY, they are going to certainly chase this down. They look towards Tim's, jumping forward with the silence. Samh still down the high ground. They have got the concoction built up by Cuckoo. Tries to throw it out, but super easy phase shift there for the puck. Will be fine. LFY continues to chase up the high ground. Ice Path holds back the Night Stalker. Raven with the ultimate still and the Blade Mail, returning a lot of damage. Super still trying to jump back in with the silence. Looking for Samh. Can he quite find it? No, Samh still alive. Inflame's going to TP onto the side. Looking for him, but the Sandstorm's there. Samh keeps himself alive. Not only the Jakiro to have died yet, but TNC, they're falling very low. Samh again with the bo3, trying to break the distance, but Super jumps forward. Will finish off Samh. Tim's holding down the puck underneath the range of the tower.
The buyback
still
though.
Super too tanky, has the phase shift. Sandstorm's there, but he's going to be used up. Can he get himself out of this one? No, the blink's not going to be there in time. Will the phase shift dodge the burrow strike? Can he really play himself out? Hacked off the blink. There's illusions upon him. Sandstorm as well, trying to hold this man back. Tim's looking to try and get the net out. Cuckoo's there with the cutoff, and he cannot escape that. Super finally goes down as TNC will take the puck.
What a crazy fight. They actually forced Samh to buy back there, but the whole time that they have Metamorphosis, they just want to go, go, go. They don't want to not fight. As soon as meta wears off, that's when they instantly start to retreat.
Absolutely, and it's instantly when TNC say, let's get down this middle lane. No Metamorphosis. Puck's down for 30 seconds. They want to try and abuse this opening as much as they can. Into the tier 2 they go. Can they break the high ground though? We saw them try it down on the bottom lane.
I think they're going to go down bottom, it looks like. I see the line drawn by 1437. They have a creep wave coming in mid, so they're actually able to go for that tower. There's still Glyph up, and now they're all aggressively leaving. Armor is starting to take it down.
This could be risky. 12 seconds till puck's back. Fortifications there. TNC have to be very careful about how they go about this bottom lane push.
Courier snipe coming out. Easy for Inflame.
Dire's turret has been killed. Dire's bottom
And yeah,
tower
TNC,
is
they
under
back off
attack.
from that bottom lane. As soon as the puck's back up, they realize they cannot afford to overstay their welcome like the last time they did down there.
They get a nice deep ward in the base, though, and I don't think LFY is going to know that that's there. Usually you expect it when someone commits more to a push, but when that one, that's just a really sneaky ward coming out from 1437.
Lane 1437 out alone again. Will try for the TP out, but the damage is more than enough from LFY.
I like this by Super too. He didn't use it in this situation, but now he has the boot to travel finished up on the puck, so he can always TP to inflame Treants and always get involved in all the fights.
They're going to look for Roshan as well. With one man down, they know that they've got the numbers advantage for 20 seconds, and LFY...
Solo Crest too, yeah, they should be able to bring it down at a decent pace. This is the important one too. This is the Aegis and the Cheese. Song is available, Epi is available as well, but without that Jakiro...
This is going to be such a terrifying push as well. You know, Monet has Metamorphosis back up and available. That with Aegis and Cheese, they have a very strong possibility of being able to break the high ground of TNC, and TNC, indeed, they are nowhere near this. They'll start to send some Naga illusions out, but it's going to scout it out too late as LFY to get themselves Roshan, Aegis, and Cheese.
TNC probably doesn't want to take straight up fights now versus that. Trying to split push. They've got the means to do so, though, with the Alchemist, of course. And Cuckoo's about to have Shivas, which is a huge pickup. That one item actually makes Alchemist insane. Just the amount of it increases your tankiness is massive because that armor and as well as the slow and attack speed slow can be quite crucial on Monet.
They pretty much have to focus everyone on that out to have a chance of killing him.
Or somehow get like a silence off before he's able to, like after the Manta style comes off, so he can't get the chemical rage, but it's still super hard to bring him down. They have to isolate him or get a heavy weave ticking down from Monet to ice to just find a place where
bottom lane again. You know, anyone that comes down here will be hunted down. Arfu closes the gap, has the crippling fear, trying to go for the TP straight out in the sideline, but
coil though.
Yeah, coils down. And that will be another pickup for LFY down in this bottom lane. I mean, both Arfu and Inflame just so scary to push out in a game where these two are playing this Night Stalker Nature's Prophet. Is time and time again, they are catching out these solo lane pushes.
And for the first time in the entire game in 30 minutes, it was a 100 gold lead for LFY, but now it's gone back for TNC.
Cuckoo back on with the farm train. As soon as that Shivas is done, he's up to 2k on top of it. Arfu eyes towards the mid lane. Down bottom as well, 1437.
They're starting to get a lot of their itemization coming out, though. Monet has completely recovered, as we see, that 13,000 net worth. But now, with the Manti-Style, which is the super core arm, but Hurricane Pike, now he has that tool to actually push himself away from that Razor to not have to worry so much about that static link. Raven.
They're talking about the Razor. He's been spotted down the tree line. He needs to back up. A super jumps in. Beautiful silence on the back lines. Make sure that there's no response immediately. The stun does still come out from Cuckoo, but TNC keeping their distance, not wanting to take the fight against LFY whilst they do not have good vision around that area. LFY will back off. TNC do hold this tier 2 for the time being in the middle lane. But again, I mean, you talked about it in the draft. These puck silences have the potential to be so clutch in these team fights. Every time the super's in position, it's pretty much impossible for TNC's backliners to react as quick as the rest of the team need them to do so. Afu on the side. Gets spotted out and will immediately go for the TP back to base, because mid lane, TNC,
They really want it.
they're immediately coming down this. Again,
Cliff is still cooldown for 1 more minute, so they want to try to force something.
It's every time that metamorphosis has been used.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time that they know that's not there, TNC know that they have this nice little advantage.
They have to. Like, they are actually starting to be in a point where it's just the Alchemist who actually does much in the fights. Everybody else is, I mean, Razor's 11k net worth. Sand King has dropped down to all the way 7,000 net worth. But not really having the impact that you would want from your core Sand King. But that's, you know, the nature of their draft. It's the Alchemist versus the world. And LFY is slowly but surely getting means to be able to deal with it.
TNC though, still playing it safe. Take the tier 3, don't stick around for more. Back off, clean up the shrines. And there definitely is still some sort of solace and safety knowing how farmed Cuckoo is. You constantly got this Alchemist, which is getting to the point where he's sort of borderline unkillable.
And he can give Ags to every single one of their heroes,
Absolutely,
which will be super helpful.
Who's getting it first?
Probably, I would say probably the Raven, just because of he's underfarmed. Sand King is probably like one of the best ones because of the stun, how massive the range is for him to catch and everything. But I think just because Raven's farm has completely stagnated, you have to give him a way to accelerate.
We'll see if that is next on the shopping list, as it certainly is getting close to the point where Cuckoo can look to buff up his teammates. Has 5,000 gold in the bank at the moment.
Like all the eggs are pretty cool. Like the Jakiro is probably the most underwhelming. It's great for high ground defense.
What about the Naga Ag's fault? How many times have we seen that?
I think I've seen it twice ever in competitive Dota or something, maybe less. It's very rare. I mean, I know it's been picked up, but you don't see it often at all.
I think full duration ends up healing like 56% of everyone's HP or something. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
70.
70. Okay. I mean, yeah, that can absolutely turn a fight if they get the clutch moment to use it.
Especially with an Alchemist, right? You full heal him, and then he pops Chemical Rage again, and then you're like, uh-oh.
But for the time being, Cuckoo, focusing on the necessities for the team, does pick up the gem for the side.
Super finished up the Aghanims. That's also the thing, is we were talking about the Alchemist being able to pull Ags, but Puck, when he gets level 20, 25, can pull the Moon Shards, and that 420 GPM starts to become pretty absurd for himself. So he actually chooses the minus 3 seconds on Waning Rift. We see a lot of players go for the Spell Amp because you get level 25, you get your Dagon fast, and eventually you'll be able to burst people down like that. But the Waning Rift, like we said, it's been super relevant in this game and can prove to do so.
I mean, what's the kind of the timings then? What, on a 10-second cooldown?
It's like the same cooldown as your Orb.
Yeah.
Like that's the, you know, you Orb in, you're able to get silence off pretty much every single time because they're, you know, 11 on the Orb and 10 on that. Scotty, next on the menu. Okay. Now level 18 for that low cooldown Sunder.
And I think definitely to kind of harp on what you've been mentioning, the thing to know about this game is the fact that LFY are only 1,000 behind when TNC have an Alchemist with 31k net worth at 35 minutes. It just goes to show how kind of well-rounded and farmed up the remaining members of LFY are in comparison to that of TNC. The rest of TNC other than this out are really, really falling behind.
Yeah. They're having to kind of run around because they're afraid of the pickoffs. That's what was happening in the mid game. Like 10 minutes ago or so, people were showing bottom. They kept getting killed over and over again. So they're at a point where they're like, okay, we kind of have to stick together because this Nature's Prophet and Nightstalker are putting too much pressure on us, and it's causing them to get very underfarmed. It's just Cuckoo. Now it's up to 6,500 gold.
I mean, he's got enough to pick up a Scepter and have the buyback.
See what he wants to do. If he wants to maybe finish up the armlet for himself and buy like an AC instead of getting the Aghanims.
Sure, swap out something for that.
Could be a possibility.
It's the Halberd now on Raven, so a bit of an answer to the main man Monet. And TD turns up to the fight.
Hey, he's he's picked up a couple items. That Hurricane Pike, Halberd, and Blade Mail could.
Now that there's a Blood Thorn though on Inflame, definitely that sort of same thing applies, as you said earlier. If they can get that silence onto the outpost Manta style, then they've got the potential to even bring him down. It's a lot of damage if they have that on him, and the whole team focusing on it.
3 different ways to silence him, and also now to break that evasion, of course, with the Bloodthorn. His teammates can hit through it at least, unless it gets manted off. So both teams do have that gem picked up, so the Vision game will be slowed down on both sides, but LFY should be able to win it because, you know, they have Night Stalker.
Looks like Cuckoo is just going to continue to buy items for himself, as you said.
So he's going to go
swap out the armlet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of going for an extra armor item, he wants to be able to do more damage and better ways to push out the lanes, because they're starting to struggle to deal with this Nature Prophet split push.
Here we go, armlet gone. Monet and the recipe picked up, just needs to get that Hyperstone from the side shop.
Yeah.
Then we can definitely expect the axe.
Mjolnir is super useful though. With the Mjolnir, with the Shivas, with Octarine, you throw that on yourself, you just kind of run into the fights. It's also great versus the Tower Blade Illusions, of course, so he can get a good amount of healing and able to actually clear versus it. And yeah, Iascati now finished up for Monet. That recovery.
Yeah, he's played it perfectly, Monet.
Top 3 now. 1-0-7.
All of that down to, of course, DDC's play as well. Many times that we saw Monet living on the edge, but DDC came in with the clutch saves.
Roche should be spawning relatively soon.
TNC with this movement. They're looking for some action, hunting down Arfu. They will manage to find the connection with the Burrow Strike. Ice Path and Concoction. Finally, after a bit of a slumber in the game, TNC break it by finding Arfu out and alone. Super's there, though, cutting the wave, so nothing more that TNC can do with their presence down on this bottom lane.
TNC made a play around their only ward vision that they did have, the one that's half duration in the enemy jungle. They just tried to make something. They definitely feel, you know, that map is starting to close on them a bit, with LFY all farming all over the place. They only have the Alchemy. Keep mentioning over and over again who is farming.
Super looking for the Lincolns go next. Once that is on, he is going to be feeling incredibly free in these team fights. Top lane, Cuckoo's being eyed up. LFY with 4 in the neighborhood. They're ready to try and make a play here onto the Alchemist. Cuckoo, is he going to get himself house? Already has used the Manta, so now there's the chance for Inflame to go in with that silence.
Oh, they might think that's the real one. He moved it away.
Indeed. Oh, the bait is perfect. Cuckoo, he's out mind game them. Now goes for the TP. Super
They've got a Yules.
Still have the Yules and will manage to hold him back, canceling the teleport. But Super, he can try and turn a fight. He needs backup from his team. His team are on the way, but it's actually Arfu keeping TNC away from getting there in time. Cuckoo has one more use of the Manta Star, will bring down DDC, but that's Cuckoo down.
That's a massive kill.
Arfu seeing if they can maybe set up a more. Look at this trap hit. Tibbs is just surrounded. No escape from there as the illusions from the Terrorblade and the Treants.
Did anyone pick up the gem that the Jakiro, I think, had, or that somebody? I see it. Oh, no, it's up there. They're pinging it. They know though.
Still at the top.
That's the Dazzle had it. He was pinging it. Yeah. DDC's like, wait a minute, they didn't take it. So they send the courier up there.
A really nice engagement. Even though it wasn't the smoothest of entries, we saw them go on the illusion. But then Arfu, as I say, we kind of saw it at the bottom there. He sort of held back TNC. TNC were trying to make their way up to help Cuckoo. But Arfu was kind of like, hey, come and look at me, guys. And indeed, that sort of slowdown has enabled LFY to now be in this position to break the high ground with the last few seconds of Metamorphosis. It is now gone. Super jumping in, 2-man silence, get the Dream Coil onto the Sand King. There's the sleep from Tims.
They're all lined up for the Ice Path.
Very lined up here. 1437, he lays down the Ice Path. Doesn't connect onto Inflame, but the combo comes in. Before he goes in, the epicenter from Savage takes down 2. Super trying to jump his way out, but Raven's there with the ultimate. Tims as well, looking to chase out again. No, the Ice Path won't connect. Blinks out, but the route's through. Tims closes the gap. TNC hold. Perfect song there from Tims to set everything up. And that push ground to an absolute halt.
You couldn't ask for a better situation to happen right there. Literally all 4 of them in a perfect line for the Ice Path for the Sand King follow-up. Great defense there from TNC. It only required the Naga to buy back there. I was worried. I was like, I think they might have to buy back the Alchemist, but yeah, perfect.
Let's see it again.
Look at this lineup.
I mean, as you say, yeah, Tims having the fortitude to buy back.
Look at that.
I mean, he could have got all 4, did only get 3 of them.
Oh, it's still pretty.
Nah, he goes for the 3 big ones. Make sure that he gets both Super and Monet in there. And indeed, Samh, no hesitation as he follows through with the combo.
And now Roche respawns right afterwards, so TNC makes their way in there and they pick up an easy Aegis cheese. And now the Aghanim Scepters will be coming out. Did he actually try one yet? He's got 4,000.
He's ready to go. There we have it. Roche is down. TNC.
They're trying to make a move right away. They still have 20 seconds until the puck respawns. They're trying to get a pick off to keep LFY one man down. So next big item pickups for TNC will be the Lotus Orb to deal with the Sunder whenever Monet is able to get that off. And we already see Sam H grab one up. I think Tim's had one in his quick buy as well. He does. And I think I saw Jakiro as well with one. But no, okay, he took whatever item he had as quick buy out. The Lotus Orb's of course super useful versus Sunder to reflect that. Negate the heal.
So if they get anything with a smoke, looks like it is just a smoke and back off.
And now everybody's up. They wanted to try to take advantage of when somebody was dead.
Kuku with his Arcane Rune at this stage, going to put an extra bit of a speed boost to his farming potential. As he still sits comfortably, of course, at the top. Inflame, though, very much, he is getting a lot on this next drop. He's halfway through level 24, nearly at the 25. Very close to having a full-out Miona himself as well.
His damage is still very high. Never can sleep on Nature's Prophet.
Super.
TNC starting to move in.
Yeah, they are looking towards Super here on this top lane. The upgraded bots and Kuku to come in on top of 1437. Super's in the tree line. We'll see if they can find him. Shivas won't quite catch him in the area. And he is out in the trees. They do not have any sort of cancel or vision to hold him back. But on the side of it all, Sam H does get the stun onto Inflame.
He wants to BKB TP, but Tim's is starting to make it closer. Is he able to get the net off in time?
It's going to be close.
So. It's going to be close, but
yeah, not quite there. Inflame will keep himself alive.
Second BKB usage.
And this is definitely turning out to be quite the game that we hoped it to be. Both sides really giving it their all here on the main stage. 23-15, 5k lead for TNC. But definitely a game that can still swing both ways around, as we can see there. You know, one fight and a sharp drop off for one of the sides.
Yeah. Aghanim is almost finished up. He starts bringing it out to pick up the point booster. Giving it to Raven also doesn't just make it so that he's more farmed, of course, which he's started to catch up heavily because of the fights, but then they actually have better siege to kill towers with that Aghanim's upgrade. Which is really just the Alchemist who can start hitting towers at this moment.
Ooh,
until
that
then.
illusion nearly took down that Aghanim's delivery there. They will still get it over safely. And Kuku, where's it going?
It actually goes to Tim's.
It goes to Tim's. I mean, he did pull off a brilliant sleep play. I think you have to reward that. And as you know, as we're saying, the heal, it is incredibly substantial.
And it's Tim's.
It's Tim's. If you're going to trust anyone to get the sleep off at the clutch moment to give you that 70% health regen, I mean, it's just essentially, it's a second life for your whole team if it's timed right. And yep. Tim's certainly playing at the top of his game here in this first game of the series. We can expect some big plays to happen with that. Definitely, no, this is something as well that Tim's, he can make his name even bigger with this.
Lane.
We don't see a lot of Aghanims. Nagasara plays bottom lane though indeed. 1437 jumped upon, does manage to
get the cheese
out. And now look at the turnaround. Super will use up to dodge the Gogosha, but they still find the connection. Has the phase shift. Will be able to blink out of this, and indeed down to the bottom. Can they actually catch him out? He's in the trees with the orb. He's fine, just a little too slippery. Still very hard to catch this puck, no doubt about it.
Cheese forced, reactions forced as well. Now they go back to the other side of the map, pushing the lanes.
And it's going to be a little harder to do as well for LFY for Super if they see 1437 out on his own, because he now does have a Yule Scepter himself.
Now they've got level 25 Nature's Prophet. Oh, he actually misclicks his BKB.
Oh.
Just testing to see if it works.
We didn't see that on the mainstream fault.
He's testing it. That's the way it works.
So we can do mid.
Monet.
Raven, yeah, finding Monet here. Kuku's going to charge up the concoction. We'll throw it out. PKP comes out straight away. Monet, no messing around. Knows that he has to save himself. Can't leave open any opportunity for him to be caught out like that.
Doesn't even risk trying to go for the man to dodge. Just all out goes for the BKB. So 45 minutes in, we've got double catapult waves coming in. We've got double runes, of course, too. So start playing in favor.
Bottom lane, Tim's bringing in Kuku. They are going to try and set up with the sleep. They managed to find him. Do they have the connection? The concoction's going to come out earlier. But now, with the back of the Samage, Super's actually trying to TP in to save this. The silence and green comes through, but Inflame just melts. Disappears immediately. Super, down deep in the trees, will be fine. But this is 90 seconds where they don't have to worry about that Inflame Nature's Prophet being out on the map. TNC can definitely give it a good shot at trying to force out that buyback. Mid lane though, 1437 being gone upon, has the self-fuels, but with 3 heroes surrounding him, very little chance of him getting home alive as 1437 will be gone.
Yeah, he's
but
probably
straight away,
making them all.
it's, you know, TNC are down bottom, they're fine with this attention being drawn towards mid.
Aegis gets reclaimed.
What can they do to stop this? Metamorphosis is popped. Starting to beat into Cuckoo.
They're getting pincered on though here in the back.
Oh, they are. This wraparound coming through. TPL straight away. No, he cancels it. Wants to try and fight this Cuckoo and help his teammates. They get the silence out to the Night Stalker. Super. Bringing them away. Has a haste run as well, Monet. Forcing himself forward, trying to close the gap.
They really want to catch something here with this Metamorphosis.
Oh, that dodge of the concoction. Very nice, Super. He's not going to jump forward, though.
They're unable to get anything. So Meta now will be down for the next engagement.
Yeah, TNC are
They're already resetting. They're trying to get in there while that Meta goes down.
Yeah, this is the perfect time. With those last few seconds of Metamorphosis, if they can get that jump. And Cuckoo's being spotted out again by the illusions being spread out from Monet.
LFY knows.
Double harm shall I deal.
How much can TNC do with that Metamorphosis down? They are still without 1437. Only 10 seconds until Inflame is back as well.
They really want to be able to kill Tims in these fights, but with the Guardian Greaves and how innately tanky Naga is, it's really hard to just remove all the silences and always able to get that sleep off, so it's super threatening.
And we've got the next Aghanim's coming out as well from Cuckoo. This one, it is going to go the way. Who's he giving it to? It does go the way of Raven, as you expected, yeah.
Those are the 2 more important ones. I mean, Sandkings is also super important, but letting Raven get that surge of gold is important. He's still not he's not where he ideally really would want to be as a Raven.
Super. Don't really have any sort of instant lockdown though, so Super is fine. We'll jump back up. Moving
Inflame
on
is
to
not
Rack.
there. Inflame is now pushing in top and pushing in middle.
Yeah, really nice use of these Terrorblade illusions to keep all lanes pushed out away from LFY's base. TNC, they really need to, they've got to back up, they've got to try and push one of their waves up with and protect it against this illusion spam from LFY that's coming out from Monet to make sure that they have a chance of actually doing damage to the barracks of LFY.
Cuckoo has enough for that. Aghanim's almost with Ags and buyback for that final one. Then he can start getting moon shards, eating moon shards himself.
I mean, don't forget the Jakira Ags as well.
Yeah.
That does a hefty bit in the fights.
It's more about high ground defense for that one at least. But yeah,
Sure,
it could be
it's the last on the
massive.
list.
Yeah, it could be massive.
MKB now out for Monet, so he is really going to be packing a punch. It's getting to the point where it may even be impossible for TNC to think about taking a fight when he has Metamorphosis up. He definitely has the potential to kill the Alchemist.
And almost level 25, so he gets that extra stats that push him forward, unless he chooses for the Sunder cooldown.
See what we've got here, TNC. Again, ready to push forward. Raven trying to build up his damage from the illusion. TPing from Inflame, will have the Sprout. Still teasing around, no one yet to commit anything heavy.
God, Reflection is such a strong spell. Every time they walk up with the Alchemist, Reflection starts to do crazy amount of damage.
Straight out, look with the Bloodborne. Cuckoo has to Manta and get himself forced out immediately. Dreamcore's dropped down, only connects onto Raven. There's the song though. Tims making sure that the side is safe.
They have to retreat.
They will. I mean, again, it's the same thing. Metamorphosis is out. TNC say, all right, we'll back off. We'll try and use the next thing. But of course, LFY, they really want to fight with this. They come through with Inflame, pulls the BKB, but he's netted up, held back. Silence is out. Onto the
Cuckoo stuns himself.
Guardian has reached himself out. Forward, trying to get Cuckoo out of there. Super jumping in. Cuckoo's still alive for the time being. Arfu trying to chase him down. They've got the Reflection. It's not quite enough to kill Cuckoo. He will survive. Grave comes out from DDC to try and save Arfu, but he ticks out to the fire from 1437. So all in all, LFY that wants to lose one of these, and now TNC is ready to go back in. They know that Metamorphosis is falling down. They get the Burrow Strike connection. Super will jump in with the silence.
Monet has no buyback.
There's the Grave, looking for the Sunder, but the Lotus off. He doesn't get the Sunder. The Lotus play is there. TNC, they break down the Terrorblade. What a clutch Lotus off. And TNC, they're not done yet. They've got their vision on DDC in the trees. They'll take down the Dazzle as well. And now they're ready to go to the high ground. Buyback from DDC, Arfu,
It's
and
backdoor
Monet.
though. Already LFY is addressing the issue that there's no buyback on Terrorblade.
But look at the damage with the ults as well. The Aghanim's ultimate from Raven. They'll clean up this bottom lane of Rax. Maybe even more. They're looking towards mid. Inflame heavy with the split push pressure right down the middle lane. They don't have the creeps. They now don't have the ultimate anymore from Raven, but still, they're slowly but surely doing it down this middle lane. Inflame, he's committing to that middle, wants to try and find something in return. He's onto the tier 3. No, there's the jump ball. The Dream Core goes through, cancelling Sam's TP out. There's no way for Sam to get back. He's going to be going back in a coffin. He's out for 80 seconds. Super trying to play with the rest of them, allowing Inflame to get the job done down the middle lane.
He's still going out on that Rex, too.
They've got Sam H and 1437 back at base, looking to hold. Inflame pops the BKB, looking for the TP out. They don't have enough damage to go through it, so
they gotta kill the catapults. Yeah, they gotta kill the catapults.
And melee Rex falling low, but as we saw, they've got to be aware of this split push still mid lane, playing around with Cuckoo. They won't go in for the kill though, the backup's not quite there. So at the end of the day, the job is certainly done by TNC. They get the full bottom lane of Brax. Mid lane is held onto though, and Inflame doing everything he can to slow down TNC.
Super clutch plays coming out from everybody on TNC. That Lotus Orb, like you said, reflecting that Sunder, turning the fight around completely.
Everyone absolutely playing to their best ability here. This is quite the show between these two sides. There's
Motion
another
up,
Aghanims.
the final eggs. And, oh, you know, just another casual 6,000 gold, of course.
You have done a great service.
Into Sam H's pocket. Solar Press now as well for Tims. Speed up that Roche potential if they want to go for it. Still very hard for TNC to really walk straight into the pit and try and take it. Mid lane, jump forward with silence. See if they can try and get a wraparound already. Arfu towards the left, but he's actually going to get caught out by that Axe Burrow Strike. Sam H with the range, but the Ice Path's not quite there. Get himself over the tree line. TNC, they don't really want to go up to the high ground here. Bit of an awkward place for them to fight in. So they're back off. The weave's on them as well.
Yeah, 4-man weave.
Inflame again, keeping this pressure on top lane, being shoved in. I mean, this is crazy, really. We've seen how much of a free game Cuckoo has. We're 52 minutes in. Inflame's only 7,000 behind him. That just goes to show how farmed this Nature's Prophet is.
He's got 520 CS, so 10 CS a minute on that Nature's Prophet. Has to address the issues of the split push, always. Yeah, always has to be pushing those lanes out. Nightstalker actually now has the, Afu has the Aghanim Scepter finished up, so they can actually take the fights easier, because now they have the vision advantage in them. And I think Super also, I believe, hit level 25 for that GPM talent. Yeah, so full Hex now finished up and buyback. The Hex can be super significant to isolate that Alchemist, because that last fight was super close to him dropping down, but they were able to turn it around. Just the 4-staff defensive play from TNC was well done.
He's going to find Arfu on the side of it all. Will flap himself away, trying to escape. The Concoction connects, Burrow Strike as well. Grave from DDC comes out. Can they do anything in return? Money trying to go for
Tims is trying to sleep again.
Managed to hex him up. He can't quite get the sleep off. He's taken down. TNC have lost 2. Super jumping in. Cuckoo's armor falling low because of the weave. Money coming forward. Inflame keeping the front. They found 3. They're looking for Raven. He's up in the air, but they surround the Razor. Raven down as well. LFY making the hold here in their own jungle, and now Raven and Tims without buyback. Inflame already in position in the middle lane, trying to push down. 1437 buys back in. They do have the Alchemist, so still good amounts of deep push.
Super's Hex so clutch in that fight right there. Not allowing Tims to get the sleep off, and then the MKB and the weaves just started kicking in. Now they're going into the Roche pit. Meta is still active for about 10 more seconds or 15 more seconds, and they should be able to bring this Roche down. But yeah, he gets the Hex, and within 15 to 20 seconds makes almost a game-winning play out of it.
Absolutely.
That swing is almost 10,000 gold now going for LFY.
And we saw that as well. I believe that the Lotus Orb was already on the target, but he just goes for it anyway. He said, it's all right if I self-Hex. We need to get that target locked down.
That's the thing. They do only have that one Lotus Orb. They don't have several ones. That's what we were addressing a little bit. Several Lotus Orbs is the way to go versus Terrorblades especially. And now that there's a Hex, we're probably going to see them address that issue by picking up more of those. But here we see the Hex comes out as the Lotus Orb comes out.
Oh, and actually,
he has a Lincoln.
He has the Lincoln,
yeah,
so he doesn't care about the Lotus. Indeed, the Lincoln still blocking that return. So indeed, perfect build from Super. I mean, if they had got that song off, it would have been an incredibly different story there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
How many buybacks was that? That was 2. So we have the Alchemist buyback and the Jakiro buyback there. Now they're scared. Now this is where TNC is in a position where they don't... It's just that super slick. If Alchemist dies, they just lose the game.
Yeah.
So he actually has to buy a full BKB here just in case to be defensive. And they can't really leave their base now, which gives LFY a huge opportunity to farm the whole map, which they're not really needing too much anymore. They're all kind of hitting their critical mass point. But it is that double runes that we were mentioning. That could be the crucial thing they need. Maybe they find a clutch double damage at the bottom, or an arcane rune, something along those lines that can help them for those type of fights. And we actually did see Monet went for the Sunder cooldown, which I'm a big fan of, because it's that 10-second cooldown can be so absurd in those fights, especially when you're playing with Dazzle. I think that's one of the
You're always
going
to have the chance to get that second life off them, unless you're getting mass silence down and such. The BKB and the Manta,
like if you get graved,
there should be the chance.
Yeah, if you get graved and you get your Sunder off right at the start of the grave, then you have only 5 seconds where the grave wears off, where you have a secondary Sunder. So I think that's one of the instances.
Yes, though, TNC with the smoke up, but Super's there with an invis. He knows what's going on. Gets the Hex up immediately.
5-man coil!
Oh, and the coil on all 5! In flame up at the high ground. Tim gets the ultimate off. It's starting to regen the backup. The regen doing work as they're brought back up to full HP. Now the turnaround with the ice pot. They've got the lockdown on Team Flame. No BKB now, but Monet is tag teamed in. The Grave coming out rather early, but it's allowing Monet to go ham. Looks towards Raven. Raven, can he keep himself alive? There's the buyback from Inflame. He's looking to come in for the finisher. They've taken down the second. Inflame, can he find Kuka? The Sprout from Inflame, forcing him to take the long way round. Buying time for Monet to force himself forward. Kuku's still slowed down by the Scotty, but he does get just enough far away. Can they turn back into this? They're looking for Monet. Concoction's out, will connect. Ice Bomb off the Mac, but now with the ultimate from 4037 is bringing the Terrorblade down low. Not quite enough to finish him off though. LFY, do they really want to go in for this push? Inflame straight up on the top, making sure pressure's kept in on all sides of the map.
Bed is down. They got to reset. Wait for that to come back online. I think did DC misclick the grave there? Is that what I'd seen? I think
went very early.
He graved Monet, I believe, there instead of the Nature's Prophet who was dying. So I think that was a slight misclick there coming out from DDC in that last engagement, and it forces Inflame to buy back. So now there's that thing for TNC where if they kill the Nature's Prophet, it can be a very good exit point for them. But
absolutely,
the rest of LFY does have buyback, and he's not as crucial as, let's say, the TNC's Alchemist.
Look at this though, smoke up immediately.
Well, this is not going to be expected at all.
LFY, yeah, TNC, they're just hanging outside the base here. This is very scary. Tims does have the song, he needs to use it. Hex comes out, there's the dream bot, there's the song. Comes through, Monet puts the BKB, roots out, but he mantas it off. Back up to full health again, the Axon doing work, now the turn, Ice Path out onto the Terrorblade. DDC is there with the backup available, they'll force Monet back. There's the grave, Sunder keeps Monet alive. Kuku forced back up to the high ground. LFY, and they do still do this, there's the disarm onto Inflame. Held back, TNC still keeping LFY away from the barracks. 10 seconds until Sam H is back in. So again, despite Monet and DDC's play, it's enough to keep them alive, but it's not enough to get the kills on TNC and actually break this mid lane.
They tried to go for a very cute play there that no one would expect. Meta's down, you're expecting LFY to completely back off, try to get a nice kill off of it, but unable to with Tim's positioning over there on the right side. So still, same thing. They need to find a way to isolate Tims, get that Hex on him so he's unable to get those sleeps off.
These sleeps have been absolutely massive from Tims.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect positioning.
Money racking up on Super. Definitely gonna start to let's get the moonshots out. There's already the moonshot on Monet. Is he given one to Inflame? Not one yet given to Inflame. Could be next on his shopping list. From the puck. Nice, no, it's the refresher. He goes all in. I mean, to be fair, we have seen these big dream coils and waning rifts and the Hex. If he can get this all out twice, it's going to be incredible. And Super, to be fair, you know, the panel said, and I joked about at the start, seeing him in on the puck, but he has had an incredible game. 10, 4, and 12. And these late game plays and decisions that he has made.
He's been getting super clutch silences in the back. And we saw what, 2 or 3 4-man, 5-man coils, and then the sleeps following up. If the sleep wasn't there, those fights are absolutely one for LFY. And now, yeah, he has double Hex too, so he can choose a little bit better. And if the Lotus Orb does remove the Hex, then he can refresh and go for it again after he uses all of his other equipment and spells, of course.
Haste.
White, still very much ready to try and do something. Metamorphosis is back and available.
Many of the heroes approaching their level 25.
Hex is coming up, but they're raining on the high ground here. There's the jump in. Super gets immediately in with the Hex onto Tims, removed by the Lotus Orb. Forced back, but he's stunned. He can't get up the song. Another
coil stun. I think
everyone can get the score up in time. He's trying to see. No, he can't. That Tims down 80 seconds. They've lost 40-37 as well. TNC is down 3. Savage coming in with the big Burrow strike. Is it enough to get the kill? The return looking for Monet. Raven's stolen a lot of damage here, but Monet
Who's dead?
Oh, they get the kill. They're moving off the mid lane of Brax. Razor will fight back. So will Sam H.
There's no creeps.
But there's no backup for the rest of the three of them. They're trying to fight against his backdoor regen. They should slowly but surely be able to get
There's
at least
Clip,
one of
though.
the racks.
They're gonna put the clip in and heal it up.
Are they going to be able to hold this? Sam H, him and the Burrow.
They've got a
Slow
minute.
them down.
A minute 20 for Alchemist buyback.
And LFY knows they've got to try and get the kills on the side. Inflame does TP in immediately with the Sandstorm. Sam H gets away. There's your fortification.
And now the glyph is gone. Or now the backdoor protection's gone. The creeps have gone.
And it plays back in immediately, looking to finish off this mid lane of Brax. They're looking to potentially go for the game. They get the Hex in time.
They're going straight for it. They're going for the game.
They're going for the finisher. 30 seconds until the Naga's back. Maybe could look for a sleep play to slow things down. But the speed that LFY are moving in means that it may be too long. 20 seconds, no Naga. They're onto the base. LFY looking to close out game one here. No way, by the looks of it, the TNC can slow this one down despite their best attempts. And indeed, GG is called.
Wow,
LFY
what a game.
Game one.
Holy crap.
What a start to this series.
What a back and forth game, though. Incredible plays coming up.